Hello, Kaylin. I'm going to read another chapter of the Christmasaurus. This time it's chapter 2, The Frozen Egg. So get cozy, and I hope you enjoy it. The Frozen Egg. Far away from William's wonky little house, snowflakes were falling from enormous, fluffy snow clouds. They were the thickest snowflakes you could ever imagine. If you were to stick out your tongue to catch one in your mouth, you would feel so full up that you wouldn't need to eat any dinner. That's how thick these snowflakes were. They weren't ordinary snowflakes because this was the North Pole, and in the North Pole, nothing is ordinary. The snowflakes hit the ground with a thud that echoed back from the surrounding mountains like the constant drumming of a marching band. Boom, 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 boom. Boom, boom. But that wasn't the only sound that could be heard. If you listened closely, you could hear voices deep underground, singing together in time with the thudding of the snowflakes. These were the voices of the North Pole elves, the very same ones that Mr. Trundle had just told William about. They were singing their digging song, which went something like this. Dig, diggity, dig, diggity, dig, diggity, dig, diggity, dig. Dig, diggity, dig, diggity, dig, diggity, dig, diggity, dig. Oh, the dwarfs that dig for dinosaurs sing hi-ho, hi-ho, hi-ho. And the fairies flying high all say hello, hello, hello. But no, we're not fairies or dwarfs, we're Santa's elves, of course. And the reason why we're diggity digging through the snow, we're digging up toys and games and stuff. We'll keep on digging through most of us, can't feel our fingers, can't feel our toes, but we'll keep digging through the ice and snow. The elves made up songs like this all the time. In fact, the elves of the North Pole didn't speak normally at all, ever. They only spoke in rhyme. For example, if a North Pole elf wanted a glass of orange juice, they would never just say, "Can I have a glass of orange juice, please?" The elf would say something like this. "Can I have some orange juice, please? Freshly picked and freshly squeezed. Peel off the skin and pop out the pips and give me some extra juicy bits." Or, if a North Elf Pole were to say good morning to another North Elf Pole, they would say something along the lines of, "Good morning, fellow North Pole elf. I hope your day brings lots of wealth. But if it doesn't, don't worry yourself. Be thankful that you've got your health." They had rhymes and songs for every occasion, and were making a new one up all the time. Some were rather good, others were awful, but they would sing them just the same. On this particular chilly December day of digging, there were 8 elves out in the ice mines underneath the snowfields of the North Pole. Their names were Snozzletrump, Specklethump, Sparklefoot, Sugar Snout, Star Lump, Spud Cheeks, Snow Crumbs and Sprout. They were very small, just as Mr. Trundle had said, only about as tall as your left knee. And they all wore the most wonderful, peculiar clothes, from dresses made of teacups to fluffy coats covered in northern light bulbs. They were quite a spectacular sight. Every elf had a different but equally important job. Snozzletrump dug the hole. Specklehump held the lantern so that Snozzletrump could see. Sparklefoot lit a fire. Sugar Snout boiled the kettle. Starlump made the tea. Spud Cheeks toasted 4 crumpets, half a crumpet for each elf. Snowcrumb buttered the crumpets, and Sprout kept watch. They had been digging holes, eating crumpets and drinking tea all morning, and were starting to think about lunch. North Pole elves were very small, but were always very hungry. "We've no more crumpets left to munch," said Sprout. "I'm hungry. Let's go back for lunch." But Snozzletrump wasn't listening. Snozzletrump was inside a long tunnel. He'd been digging in the ice for the past 2 hours. He was deep in thought and lost in the song he was singing to himself. "I've been digging through snow and ice for many days and countless nights. so that every girl and every boy gets a special Christmas egg. There was a great gasp from all the elves. Spudcheeks even dropped his half-crumpet in the snow, butter side down. That line didn't rhyme, cried Snowcrumb from the back of a concerned group. It was very rare that a North Pole elf would not rhyme. I seem to have found something strange in the ground, yelled Snuzzletrump, coming back to his rhyming sense. The 7 elves outside the tunnel dropped their tea and crumpets at once and rushed towards to take a look. Specklehump adjusted the great brass lantern he was carrying on a long pole so that it shone its light over their heads. The ice tunnel lit up in great blues and yellows, and what the elves saw left them all completely gobble-mouthed, poky-eyed, wonky-brained and confused. It was an enormous frozen egg. Most of the elves were more than 200 years old and had seen all sorts of weird, wacky things on the North Pole, but never had any of them seen an egg frozen in the ice. They started whispering and gossiping to each other, in rhyme, obviously, trying to get a better peep at the beautiful shiny shell of the egg, which was sticking halfway out of the ice. As they all nudged closer, there was such a kerfuffle that an argument broke out between Sugarsnout and Snuzzletrump, which to you and me would have sounded like a rather chirpy duet. It went a little like this. There's an egg under the snow. How did it get here? I don't know. Well, dig it up. Let's take it back. Dig it up, but it might crack. We can't just leave it stuck in the ice. We could cook it for dinner. It might taste nice. Cook it. Cook it. You can't do that. There's something inside it waiting to hatch. Just as Snuzzletrump finished singing his line, something happened that made all the elves jump. The egg wobbled. There was a great silence in the tunnel as the elves huddled together, staring at the egg. There was something inside it, all right, something alive. Then all at once, as if they had been planning this routine for months, the elves started singing together in perfect unison. Dig up the egg, let's take it back. Div up the egg, see it can hatch. Dig up the egg, so we see what we can find. What sort of thing's alive inside? Alive inside? A frozen fish, a chili chicken. Santa will know, so let's start digging. Sounds awfully a lot like the song from Nightmare Before Christmas. All 8 elves working together to carefully dig out the egg. It was tricky, fiddly business that only the North Pole elves could do. If humans had found the egg, it would have been squished, flattened like a pancake. But the elves were gentle, expert diggers. Sugarsnout used the steam from the pot of tea to melt the mostly solid frozen layer of ice. Snowcrumb used his buttery crumpet knife to gently chip away pieces of ice around the egg. Starlump brushed away the loose snow, while Sprout hopped up and down excitedly, shouting encouraging rhymes to help, with a mouthful of crumpet, of course. After only 15 minutes and 22 seconds, the stuck egg popped free from the ice. All the elves took their wonderful thick coats and scarves and wrapped them around the giant egg. It was taller than an elf standing on another elf's shoulders, fatter than 3 elves, and heavier than all 8 of the elves put together. It took great effort for them to carry it, but if there was one thing elves are good at, it's teamwork. They all bunched together with the frozen North Pole wind whooshing over their cold arms, and they carried that frozen egg out of the ice mines, over the snow fields, and took it to the wisest person they knew, the only person who knew what to do with a frozen egg in the North Pole. Santa. Here's a nice picture of the egg, all wrapped up. That's the end of that chapter. The next chapter is Santa's Bottom. What a strange name for a chapter. We'll read that one tomorrow night, though. So, it's time to say night-night, and I love you. Night-night.